when Debbie and her husband Nick will do their next one. They teach a training that's graduating today called adaptation. It's such an interesting training. Debbie has so many skills in so many disciplines, as does her husband Nick, whose main work is he's an acupuncturist. So he brings a lot of Chinese medicine and all of those particular points in the body to his teaching. And then Debbie and Nick teach at the massage therapy school, and they help at they run at LGH, a whole division of LGH that's devoted to bringing complementary medicine to match up with the Western medicine. It's pretty interesting, and some of that stuff they'll cover in their workshop, some of those little bits and pieces of their specialized knowledge. But what's also interesting about what Debbie teaches, and you may discover this when you take her classes, she teaches you about 2 different points in your body, like your ear over here and your toe over there, and then all little points in between that create a stretch. And so you do that all the time in class, pressing of your back foot all the way up into your fingertips, lifting. And then you just watch in your own body as you're holding it and breathing for, are all those spaces engaged in the stretching? And if not, why? And is there some sort of modification you can create? So her training is called Adaptation in our series of teacher trainings. It begins again next April. They're graduating this weekend. If there's something like that that you have interested in as a student or a yoga teacher, ask questions about it. A lot of times people think, those are things I'm interested in, but they're for somebody else on their mat next to me. And there are people always in our trainings who their very first yoga class is one that's in the actual teacher training. It just depends on what you're ready for in your own life and what you're interested in. So this fall, our Access training begins, our Empower training, which is the one after Access, and next April, Debbie's Adaptation training. So her little workshop, just the 2 hours this afternoon, is a little glimpse into some of that knowledge that's covered in the Adaptation training. All right, let's get started here with our yoga today. We are so lucky to be able to indulge on a Sunday morning in an hour and a half, 90 minutes of time to practice. The practice we're doing was originally created for 90 minutes. So the opportunity to take the full 90 minutes and explore the practice completely is just perfect for a Sunday morning. So begin with your breathing, always the place to start. The most fundamental principle we practice in our practice is breath. Take a deep breath in, fill up your lungs, feel your body expand, and then exhale. You might like to do that a couple of times. Take the breath in and use the sigh as a clearing. It's powerful to be able to clear your space of whatever is dragging your attention from what you're actually doing and be able to be in a clear space, clear of mind, doing what you're doing right now. As you build your breath, 4 parts, inhale, pause, exhale, pause, and just equalness throughout. That's really the secret to the power of the breathing, is to bring a quality of steadiness, smoothness to your breathing. Now bring a little bit more emphasis to your breath, enough so that you are sharing your breath with the people around you. You can be heard at home by Angie. We can hear Angie here, at least in our imaginations, or anybody from home who might take this practice later on. Breathe so you can hear the people around you and be heard. It's one of the ways our practice has a quality of leaving us feeling connected. Then on your next inhale, lift your body up into downward facing dog. As you arrive in the downward facing dog, open up your own internal listening. Sometimes we'll call it your felt sense to your body and how it is. You can bend and straighten your knees, stretch your legs, squeeze your fingertips, shrug your shoulders, and then start to choose the foundation. Hands set, maybe a little wider than they originally landed. Feet and hands longer apart from one another to create a lot of space under the pose. Now really bring your breathing. As a teacher, one of the things we train into the students who will become teachers is to listen for a lot of things, but in particular, the breathing in the room. You go ahead and turn up your listening right now and listen for the breathing, the healing quality of the oceanic sound of a group of people working together. So not that you don't get to have your own uniqueness in the breath, but you bring in and it's part of the whole in such a way as an orchestra would work. The whole creates something greater than the sum of the parts. On your next breath, move your gaze to the front of your mat and step up to the front of your mat. Once you arrive here, inhale, lift up halfway. Stay right here and take a few breaths in your halfway lift. Soften your knees so you really feel your hips standing on top of your ankles, and keep stretching your sitting bones back, the crown of your head forward, until you've almost sensed that the whole side of your body is being drawn long and straight. And it takes something then from the pit of your belly lifting to support your body in this position. A little more, soften your knees, a little more. Yes, and reach the sitting bones back until your lower back just stretches long. Keep breathing. One more breath here. Fold down to the ground on your exhale. Then fold your arms and sway from side to side. Keep your breath flowing. And inside, in your felt sense, start to look for spaces and places where you can breathe and create a quality of healing, putting things right inside of your body, pose by pose, breath by breath. Do what it takes in your body right now. So sometimes it's a lingering on one side and breathing until that side experiences some relief and some space. Then come to the center, press your feet down into the ground, come rolling all the way up to standing until you can sweep your arms overhead. Keep breathing right here, not just one inhale, but a few breaths to press your feet down into the mat, to lift the side of your body up as high as it will go, to draw the pit of your belly up to your chin. Keep lifting the pit of your belly in and up, and experience how much space there is in your lower back. Right now, you're in a back bend, and we're going to do a lot of back bends. Notice how much lift it takes to have a healthy back bend. Take one more breath from your toes to your chin. You stretch, then bring your hands into prayer position at the center of your chest and pause. Set the intention for your practice. 3 times we'll chant Om together. It brings our breathing together and it forms a clearing. Take a deep breath in. Inhale, look up and reach up. Form the stretch that you know you need in this pose. Then exhale, fold down to the floor. Inhale, lift up halfway. Every time, long flat back and soft knees. Then high plank to low plank as you exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. Lift the front of your body. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Long, steady exhale. 2 more. Inhale. And a steady exhale. Last time, breathe in. On the exhale, bend your knees, look forward, move up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold, press down, stand up, reach as high as you can and look up. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift up halfway, low plank on the exhale. Upward facing dog, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. 3 breaths, breathe in, exhale. Right now, we have an awakening to what is so and what could be created. One more time, inhale. Exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Press down, stand up, stretch, lift the pit of your belly up. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank, drop and empty and hover and hold that and savor it. Then inhale, come up. Exhale, go back. 3 breaths. Exhale. 2 more. Keep using these exhales to start teasing open some space. 1 more time. On the exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. stand, stretch, maybe go back and fold. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, lift the pit of your belly up, downward facing dog. Now here you have a chance to stretch. You might start walking your feet back as you breathe and pulling your hips back. Take one more breath in, breath out, look forward and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold, stand, sun salutation A, stretch, look, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, drop to low plank and hover. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, breathe here. You could soften your knees and drag your hips back. One more time, breathe in. On the exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose, sit back and reach your arms up, then fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and lunge. Warrior one, we'll take a few breaths here. Breathe. Press the back edge of your back foot down into the mat and you'll feel the arch of your back foot lift. Then bend your front knee a lot so you get down into both legs and feel both legs working. Once you're down low on your legs, from the pit of your belly up to your chin, stretch up and lift. Look up and reach up. That's it, Angie. One more breath. Hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward and lunge. Steady breathing. Gaze set on one point. Keep your breath flowing as you move through your body with your felt sense, feeling what you feel, making any changes or adjustment to bring yourself into the heat of the pose. Deep, deep lunge. Then lift the pit of your belly and lift through all of your bottom ribs. Look up and stretch up, then hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, steady breath out. Two more, inhale, exhale. Last time, breathe in, prepare to move and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose, hips way back. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift, drop to the low plank. Upward facing dog. Do you feel the stretch in the pit of your belly? Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and lunge. Stretch, look up, reach. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side step. Big lunge. Look up and stretch. Hands down, chaturanga. Up dog, downward facing dog, and breathe. Now, what is it feeling like in your body from this point? How is your lower back? Starting to feel your lower abdominals coming alive, a little warmth from the working and the stretching and all of those upward facing dogs and warrior ones. One more time, breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees, jump. Halfway lift, fold. Chair pose, sit, inhale, fold to the floor. Half lift, drop to the low plank. Up dog, pit of the belly, lift it, down dog, right foot forward, deep, deep legs, get the stretch in the whole left side of your body, chaturanga. Up dog, downward facing dog, left side step. Smooth and steady with your moves and your breath, chaturanga. Up dog, downward facing dog, steady breathing here. Deep breath in and exhale. Breath in, breathe out. One more time, get ready to move and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose, smooth and steady, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog, right foot step and lunge, smooth, steady with the arms. It will fill your lungs, and smooth, steady down. It'll empty your lungs. Up dog, down dog, left side step. Bring in the air as you reach your arms up and look, and move it out as your arms come down and compress your lungs. Up dog, downward facing dog, and breathe here. You're probably ready for a clearing now. So take a deep breath in, open up your mouth and sigh. 2 more, inhale and open your mouth, sigh and clear the space. Here's the last one. On your exhale, bend your knees, move up to your hands. Half lift, forward fold. Last time, sun salutation B, sit and reach, fold to the floor. Half lift, low plank, long exhale here. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward and lunge. Bring some ease to your movements instead of forcing chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now the left side step, move your arms, fill your lungs, chaturanga. Steady movements, steady breath. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take a couple of sighs here. Let yourself enter a new level of openness, ease, health, and well-being. And then raise your right leg into the air. Bend your knee, bring your heel to your hip. Keep your breath flowing and flip the pose over with your breath flowing and steady every bit of the way. Land, feet on the floor, hand on the floor, keep breathing. With your gaze set on one point and your breath still flowing. Oh my gosh, Jordan, you're right there. Reach. You got it. Now the hand that's on the floor spins. It's a weird move. You got it. You got it. That's it. One more breath. Now you have to do the whole thing in reverse. Side plank. Right hand goes to the mat. You got it. Face the left. Side plank. You never know until you try. And if your breath is flowing, your drishti is set, you have more access because those foundational principles are in place. In the pose, take a breath, have a sigh. Stay right here for one more breath. Then move with grace, high plank to low. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Raise your left leg into the air. Bend your knee, heel to your hip. Keep your breath flowing. Don't go anywhere until you've got your breath. Don't do anything in a yoga class without your breath. And then flip 2 feet to the floor. Check out your breath here. If you can't breathe, you know something's not good in the setup of the pose for you physically, even emotionally. Then reach, relax. Ease brings progress. One more breath. Side plank, left hand to the mat, face the long right side of the mat and stack your body up. Check it out. See what's possible here. See, Angie, instead of making more space on the top right side of your body, if you can make it on the bottom left side. So for everybody, the edge of your left foot on the mat, all the way up to your left armpit. How long can you stretch your body? Yeah, just like that, Angie. Angie's pulling her toes back. It's giving her a challenge, but she's working with it, grappling with it. One more breath, high plank to low. Upward facing dog, stretch, move into the space. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath, have a sigh. Then raise your right leg into the air behind you. As you exhale, bring your knee in and touch it to your nose, armpits over your wrists. Then inhale, raise your right leg up and back. Exhale, bring your knee into your right armpit. Maybe you take a balance here. Take a breath. Take your leg up and back. Then bring the knee under your body across to the opposite side, elbow or armpit. Hold it here. Take a breath. Then raise it up and back. Step forward for crescent lunge, foot on the floor. Arms overhead, set your gaze and breathe. In a still space, you'll start to discover is some of the places of recovery. Stand on the ball of your back foot, big toe mound to little toe mound, and then move forward into your lunge and stack your heel on top of the knuckles of your toes. Once you've got that, double check in on your breath, bring your breath. And then fire up your back leg. so that both of your legs are working and they're at their edge in the pose, in the shape. Once your legs are at their edge, pull yourself up to the ceiling, the pit of your belly, up through to your chin, up through to your fingertips. Keep looking up and reaching, whether you have purposeful cactus arms or straight arms, look up and reach. Then up and go back by lifting your belly, deepening your legs, up and go back. Hands come to prayer position and set your gaze. Just in that alone, let your body settle. Twist left elbow to your right knee. Steady, steady breathing. You got it. Stack your back heel over top of your toes. A little bit more open there, Ruben. Yeah. You can open your arms, reach for the floor and for the ceiling if you'd like, or wrap your top arm behind your back to bind the pose. You could even step forward into a reverse half moon if you wanted to. Choose whatever it'll be for you. Get settled. Take 3 more breaths. 2 more, steady, smooth and steady. You got 1 more, smooth and steady, not a gasp and a big exhale. Then reach up to your crescent lunge, warrior 2. That'll be a nice area of interest if you could notice for yourself when your body gets physically in a challenging spot. Are you you recognize that sometimes in yourself? Smooth and steady. So open your feet long. Let's make a challenge. Lunge down low until both of your legs are working this pose. Back heel out a little bit more. That's it, Jennifer. Now stretch. Smooth and steady, deep, deep lunge. You want to keep all the stretching or it's going to be really hard. Tilt for extended side angle. Legs deep in stretching, arms deep in stretching. Now just breathe and concentrate on your smooth, steady breath. You may notice as you're breathing, there are areas where the energy is leaking, like the pit of your belly is not firming in and up. You could bring that on board. You could bring on board that you're just opening your chest a little more, like let your chest open and lay back a little, Kelly. That's it. Deep, deep lunge. Keep the deep lunge. That's it, Amy. Tuck your right hip under your body. Then 2 more breaths. Steady. This is going to be the tough one. Smooth and steady. Hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take a couple of sighs. So there's not wrong breathing. There's just breath that's either powerful or not powerful. That's all the distinction is. Get another sigh. Then on the inhale, raise your left leg into the air. When you exhale, bring your knee in, touch it to your nose, hover over your wrists. Take your leg up and back, stretch it. Bring your knee to the same side armpit. You might take a forearm balance. Everyone stay here. Take a breath in the pose. Then step out, stretch your leg up and back. Knee across your body. Try to touch your elbow and hover here. Don't move. Stay with it. Another breath with it. Then reach up and go back. Step forward, crescent lunge. That's an unloved move, I see. Unloved, arms overhead. Set your gaze. Heel up, yes. And lift the pit of your belly. Deep, deep lunge. You got it. Lunge down deeper if you can, Morgan. Yes. Stack your knee. Now fire up your back leg. You got it. That's it. Keep doing that. Bend your front knee and fire up your back leg. Allison, lift your belly and stretch. Yes, so you're out of your lower back like that. Bend your knee, but keep the stretch. Up out of your back, look up and go back. You got it. Lift your belly, look up and go back. Hands to prayer, twist. Right elbow, left knee. Breath by breath, all we're looking for is to bring healing to your body. Open up your arms, not looking for a performance compared to yourself, compared to others, compared to a standard. We're looking for what is so. That's a huge accomplishment, being able to see that. And then from what is so, what is possible. Our breath will tell the story. It'll show us the path. Take your arm around behind your back. You got it. And then roll that shoulder open. Oh, that's good. It just relaxed, Greg. Nice. Take a deep breath in. Have a sigh. Reach up to crescent lunge. Open to warrior 2. So take solace in the steadiness of your feet. Back foot angled in, front foot pointing forward. Deep, deep lunge in this warrior two. Get a little recovery breath. Go a little longer, Ruben. You got more space there. Now stretch. Sometimes the stretching, the lunging helps me bring to the surface a deeper sense of like purposefulness or an angriness or resentment, anything that's like that high energy that's sitting in my body. Let's it just get moved through, get expressed, stretch, and tilt for extended side angle. Reach for the floor, reach for the ceiling. Deepen your lunge because you can. Bend your knee more, Jordan. That's it. Then stretch. That's it. You got it, Neil. Anchor your back foot edge. Lunge a little deeper if you can, Serena and Allison. And then for everyone, stretch your chest. Look up to the ceiling. Deep, deep lunge, Morgan. One more breath. Stay for the whole thing. Then hands to the floor for chaturanga. And what now feels softer? Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. We build heat with the poses. Heat creates transformation, change. Take one more breath in. Breath out, bend your knees, jump up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair twist is next. Set it up for yourself. You'll be twisting toward your right. We want our knees to go over our middle toe, feet together, feet open. You decide for you. And then turn. Now have a listen to the space around you. Listen for breathing. It's not right or it's not wrong. It's what it is. And if you detect that there's not that much breathing, start to bring a pace and bring a breath and see where the pose goes from there. You can open your arms, bend your right knee a little more, Veronica. Yes. Hop arm around maybe behind your back. Stay with it, Adam. Everyone, broad, easy chest in the breathing. One more breath. Reach up to the chair pose on the inhale. Forward fold. Feet hip width distance. Hook your big toes with your middle and index fingers. See if you can keep your feet lined up against the sides of your mat. Lift up halfway. I always lift up a lot to stretch out my shoulders, elbows, and wrists, and then fold. You'll do it with bent knees and sandwich your belly to your thighs, then your ribs to your thighs. Let your heels sink down into the mat. Anchor them there. Once they're anchored, you maybe can shift your heels or your hips toward your toes, but keep your heels anchored and just bring fire in the whole backs of your legs. Might help to shift your weight from side to side. Be in the exploration of how the pose is getting expressed in your body today. Breath to bring healing. One more breath. Maybe have a sigh and just hang. And then chair twist the other way. Steady breathing. Set your drishti. Twist right elbow to your left knee and keep on breathing. Just listen into your feet, how your ankles stack, and then up to your knees and up to your hips. Is there a nice quality of evenness and sturdiness and support and joints being stacked? Excellent, Kai, when you got them all stacked up there. If you feel like your knees easily just drop onto one another, hold them just off of each other. Deep, deep seat. Whatever shape you've put your body in, take 3 really full breaths here. Steady, smooth breath. Hips way back. You've got one more. Full thing. Take the whole thing. Then reach up to chair. Forward fold. Feet hip width distance. We take gorilla pose. So your hands go under your feet. There's a blessing in getting to the point where your body has a sense of the rhythm of our journey into power poses. So you get past the learning stage of the poses and some of the information about your body and the pose. Drop your heads down. Then you can take a lifetime and explore the emotional and healing curve of every pose, of the collection of poses, and the way that it makes you healthy. It keeps you healthy in your physical body and it keeps you healthy in your mind. Every now and then, if you need another sigh to clear space out, make that happen. Shake your head. Let your head just be heavy and hang toward the earth. And then we've got crow pose. You know the millions of different ways to try this. Lately, an interesting different way I've been giving you is on your back, elbows between your knees, curled up. You could do it hands down. If you always do it one modified way, maybe try this way where you're curled. And every exhale, you're pressing your elbows into your knees into your elbow, and sinking and deepening your core strength. Get to the pose you're going to be in. And let's take 5 breaths. That's it, Missy. Good, Jennifer. 4 breaths. Let your body be somehow easier here as you get into the more late stage of holding it. After this, it's chaturanga from wherever you are. From wherever you are, chaturanga. You may be, if you're on your back, hug your knees and rock back and forth and go around through for chaturanga. Then upward facing dog to downward facing dog. When you get to your downward dog, bring your breathing. One more inhale. On the exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Take your time, press your feet down, roll up to standing. By pressing your feet, you'll feel your belly lifts. Just take that as the action and come on up. Arms overhead, right side eagle pose. Wrap your right arm under, keep your drishti set, right leg over. Steady breathing the whole time. Once you get into the pose and you've established your drishti and your steady breathing, then what else? What else is available? Sitting a little more deeply, squeezing your legs a little more snug, lifting your arms. When it's like the best, most magical yoga day ever, what I get in this pose and I'm lifting my belly is all of a sudden my lower back just melts. It starts to open up. And that is a huge accomplishment for me. On your next inhale, step out. Left arm under, left leg over. Steady breathing. Now just listen to the room breathe while you hold the pose. I think that's sometimes one of the most peaceful moments in life. Let it be soft. Keep breathing. One more. Inhale, step out. Right side, right arm under, right leg over. Keep the breath flowing. Takes a little bit of jumble, coming into our own uniqueness as we recreate it. And then somewhere in the pose, we maybe again find the collective. Breathe. Steady. Inhale, step out, smooth transition, left side, left arm under, left leg over. Keep the breath steady. There's a power right through these balancing poses where we shift into finding this quality of where ease makes the pose and the practice more powerful. You don't have to know intellectually what that means. Right now, your steady breathing will be a pathway to it. Listen to the breath, your own, the breath around you. Keep your gaze, keep your breath. Step out, stretch your arms over your head. Hug your right knee into your chest and stand tall. Standing tall is different from leaning back and pressing your knee into your hands. Stand so tall that you could let go of your knee and you'd still be standing tall. Keep that height and hold on to your right big toe or the outer edge of your foot and extend your knee. So some of you don't like this pose. It doesn't feel good in your body. It's a lot of stretch. Modify it enough that you can do it anyway, and a strap would be the tool for that. Set your gaze. Find the challenge that meet the challenge with your breath. See if you can come to smooth and steady, even though your body's in this position. Go ahead and grab a strap if you need it. Everybody balancing will be fine. Just move with your breath. Hug your knee into your chest. Stand tall. Open up your chest and your shoulders. Reach back for airplane pose. Stretch. Just when you think you're not going to need your strap that day or your block, you inevitably do. I would recommend always having them at your mat. Otherwise, you end up doing without when it would be just the thing. Now stretch as much as you can, like your foot is pressing into a wall behind you. Your head, the crown of your head is pressing into and balancing you on a wall in front of you. Press down with your standing foot until you feel the pit of your belly lift and the pose get lighter. Then hands to prayer, keep that lightness. Left hand down, right arm up, half moon. Steady breathing. Lift your right leg high. You got it. Keep lifting it. Press it like it's standing on a wall. There's a lot of inner thigh stretch going on here. Press. Both feet press away from the center line. Look up. Breathe in, reach up. One more breath. Gently forward fold and hang. Sway back and forth, side to side. Just let the pose move through you. Grab your strap if you'll be using it. Come rolling up to standing and hug your left knee into your chest. Set your drishti. Let your system settle. Hug your knee into your chest. Stand tall. Then hook your foot and extend your knee. This is an interesting pose if you can stand tall. So a little taller, little taller, little taller there. Hold it. You got it. Nice. Get comfortable with the shape. If you can, a little taller, Amy. Hip back. Yes, just like that. Stay with it. Maybe a sigh. See if you can get easier with it. Hug your knee into your chest. Stand tall. Get ready even here. Already tall and powerful. Then stretch open. Don't get yourself into the pose and then from like a hanging umbrella shape, try to start creating it from here. That's really hard. Strong at first. Strong from the pit of the belly to the periphery. So there's a quality first of hugging into the core and really being with the core. Like you're so strong and concentrated. And then from there, expanding out. Hands to prayer. Pause, press them. That settles your whole system. And then open to the half moon. Consider that for a second. When you bring your hands to prayer, there's this sense of collecting, consolidating, making yourself stronger so that you can reach out. Draw the pit of your belly into your body and up to your chin and keep breathing. 3 more breaths. Press up high with the lifted leg. Yes. 1 more. Steady exhale. Feet down and hang. Sway from side to side. Let the pose settle into your bones. We're going to be taking the back bends. If you want a strap, grab it. So come on up to standing, either with a strap or just standing bow without a strap. Right arm bone back, palm faces out, and hold your ankle from the inside. Now, if holding your ankle that's a little too much stretch, you can hold it from the outside. But what we don't want is your shoulder rolling forward, holding it from the inside. Don't want that one. Set it up. Got your gaze and your breath. And begin to stretch into the pose. Any good balancing first requires a coming into the core and then total body expression from the center out to the periphery. From the pit of your belly to every toe and fingertip. Steady breathing. In the pose, take a sigh. Stay with it. 5 more breaths. Stay with it. Keep going. Strong belly. If you're starting to feel this in your lower back, get your belly. Finish the last breath. 2 feet on the floor. Hands on your hips. Eyes on one spot. Let the pose settle. Let's do the other side. Set up for the left side. Left arm bone back. Hold your ankle from the inside. Start with your knees together, Angie, at home, and then drive it straight back. So drive it straight back while your arm reaches straight forward. Yes, that's it, Ruben. Just pull in 2 directions. At some point or another, take maybe a sigh and see if your shoulders, maybe they're overworking and they could be more at ease, and then kick a little more to fill in the space you found. Take yourself to your physical edge in the pose. And then 5 more breaths. Nothing like the pet in the practice at home. Sitting on your foot while you're balancing. Stay with it. Last one. Stretch. Feet on the floor. Eyes on one spot. Recover. You might need a couple of sighs. Your body might need to recover. Pace of your breathing, pace of your heart rate. Your mind might need to recover. Now you're ready in a way you're not going to be ready in again unless you start a whole practice over. So what's possible here? Standing bow or dancer's pose. So dancer's pose gives you the access to the shoulders opening in a different way. It's kind of like the difference between warrior and crescent poses. If you have a strap, try the dancer's pose. Otherwise, second set standing bow pose. So right arm back, hold your ankle from the inside, left arm in the air. Maybe at first just sigh and let your shoulders go, and then just start pressing out, pulling out to the edge. You can build the pose by an equal balance of effort and ease, sometimes adding kick and stretch, sometimes adding softening and letting go. Keep on breathing, especially here, your steady exhale. Yep. Inhale steady, exhale steady. Dancers, start by pressing your wrists. Press your wrists up to the ceiling, upper back relax, and step on out of it. Feet on the floor. Second set, second side. So the left side now. Set it up. Left hand, hold your ankle from the inside or use the straps. The wrists start, shorter there. And go for it. Breathe. So when you've got that dancer's pose with your elbows pointing to the sides of the space, for me, my default would be to squeeze my shoulders up and come forward, and there'd be no getting beyond that. Keep moving your arm bones back. The whole of your bent elbow, arm bones, just keep moving them back. They don't have to depress, but just move them back. For everyone, foot up to the ceiling, a little more negative space behind your body, and then step out. Oh, Paige is going for it. Stand at the front of your mat. Now, if you ever feel overly hot or a little dizzy in the balancing sequence, these poses can be taken lying on your back. Tree poses last and next. Sole of your right foot to your left inner thigh. Press your palms together. Additionally, if you're ever falling out of the poses with the straps, let go of the strap on the way down. Seems like, of course, but when you're falling, it doesn't necessarily register first. Actively calm your system. That's what this pose is put in place for. You guys are doing a good job of that. Switch sides, right foot down, left foot up. Keep your gaze and your breath steady. So you move from side to side. Feet active, all feet in every variation of the pose right now. Feet active. Little softness in your standing knee. If you were one who just softened your standing knee a little, what's different now? One more breath. Come to the front of your mats. At the front, inhale and sweep your arms overhead. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift, low plank. Drop right into it. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot inside of your right hand for triangle pose. Keep a long stride and open your left arm up to the ceiling. You want to anchor the big toe mound of your front foot. So press that toe knuckle down and keep it down. Even the back edge of your back foot, press it into the mat and keep it down. And then a little softness to your knees. If you're a person who can lock your knees, be on purpose with a little softness. And then let the pose work in the area of your pelvis. So in the front, the right side, let that crease sink deep, like your whole thigh and sitting bone are just settling up and back away from your body. From your pubic bone all the way to your chin, stretch that long, parallel to the floor. Draw the pit of your belly in and keep your big toe knuckle pressing down. And then relax your chest open. Drop your head back, Kaiwan. Look for Sue. Yep. Strong belly. Keep looking for Sue. Drop your head back. Look behind you. Come on up to standing. Face the long left side of your mat. Hands to your hips and forward fold. Once you get down into the fold, walk your fingertips through your feet and behind you as far back as they'll go, and stretch your head down toward the ground. You might even find your head settles on the mat. Someday this could move into a headstand where your arms are actually in this position. Doesn't mean you have to go for that and try that right now. It can be helpful to understand, oh, that's the intention down the line, maybe in another lifetime, but that's the intention here. What are you feeling in your body right now? How is it for you? When you breathe, what do you experience? If you feel like you're not breathing, it's just kind of clicked over into your everyday kind of regular automated breathing, be purposeful and start your breath right here. Come on up to standing. Turn to face your front foot. Standing single leg forward fold. Your feet need to have width and length. If it's really close, you're just going to end up bowing at the waist. Settle the four corners of your feet. Lift your 10 toes so you really understand where your feet are, and then just start to hinge. You have the permission to soften and bend your front knee or lift your back heel as needed, but fold and keep on breathing. We are looking to target the whole back of your front leg. So the hamstrings, the muscles in the back of the top of your leg, right from the center of them, radiating out to the periphery. As you get settled here, you're a few breaths in, do you still have your weight even through your feet? So when you have this cool line on your mat, then you can notice the width. This foot onto this set of stuff. Yep. And then that heel onto the line. Move it over. Yes. And now hinged. Yep. Bring weight into your front leg for both of you. There. Feel your hamstrings? Got your hamstrings? Keep that. Twisting triangle. Missing more weight in your front leg. There. Twisting triangle. Could be helpful to have a block under your fingertips. Still need the four corners of both of your feet. And then just feel what you're feeling. So some weight back here, Judy. Yes. And stretch your chest away from my hands holding your head. Yes. You got it. Keep on stretching now. Back left rib. Stretch. Breathe. Twist. Hands to the floor. Downward facing dog. Take a breath. Left side. Step your foot forward. Triangle pose. Left foot forward. 2 feet flat. Keep your toes in the air the whole time and work the corners of your feet. Open the pose. You want changes in the rest of your body? Access it from your feet. So with your 10 toes in the air, work for what's it going to take out of the way I use my feet to change the whole rest of my body in some way. Keep sinking that hip crease deep, letting this sink right in through here. Yep. Lengthen your left side under body. Yes, Kelly, that's it. Keep going. Keep breathing. Come on up to standing. Face the long right side of your mat. Take your arms around behind your back and bind your hands, either hand holding hand or holding onto a strap. Lift your chest up high and fold. Steady fold. Double check your feet when you get down there. Paige, open your heels a bit. See that your feet are parallel to the short sides of your mat. And then keep allowing your hands to spill overhead. Yes, at first you'll notice a lot of stretch in your chest and shoulders. And then as you continue to allow your hands to spill, you'll notice, get a little wider, the whole back of your rib cage has a chance to open up here as you're breathing. Look for that. Intend for that to happen. Try a breath that's full, a big breath, lots of expansion. And then steady, soften, and see what you notice. Micro bend. Oh, just a little bit though, Jennifer. Yeah. Yeah, see what you can feel in your own body. Can you create and discover a healing? One more breath. Come on up to standing. Turn to face your front foot, standing single leg forward fold. So if I'm looking at the markings on this particular mat, maybe I'll put my left foot to the left of the center line and then my right foot to the right of the center line. There are these 2 dots here. Across the center, I'm going to put my foot on those 2 different dots and then work with it. Drag your left hip back as you stretch like you're diving forward over your front leg. Hold nothing back. Soften your knees. Jordan, go longer and soften your knees. Yep. Bring your front heel to the front dot. Right up here, there's a dot. Put your heel on it. Yep. And soften your knee. That's it. And dive, drag into that hamstring. Greg, go longer if you can. Yeah, a little softer. And then here. Do you feel your hamstrings a little more here? We want that. You got your hamstrings. Let's go for the twisting triangle. Keep the hamstring work. Right hand under the block or floor. Stretch. Just get the 2 sides of your body to be long. And then start your twist, but keep the length. That's something else to keep the length. Yes, right there. You have good connection to where your body is. Keep stretching and breathing. Keep making extra length, stretching and breathing. I had probably done this pose for like nearly 20 years until I really got the stretching in my back right ribs. It takes something. It's something not to let the hips sway and swing out to the left because you just don't really know they're there. One more inhale, get long. One more exhale, twist. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. You can walk your feet out. Stretch your body long from your fingertips to your hips. Just get the length. Then come to a high plank and lower to your belly on the mat for locust pose. Keep your toes turned under like they just were here for this push-up you just did. Toes turned under, arms out wide, and stretch. So you could press your heels to the wall behind you and stretch your chest to the wall in front of you. We're understanding how your feet at 12 o'clock make for any kind of a healthy back bend. You got it. Feel when your feet are standing straight up and down, heels on top of toes, how your lower back remains broad. And stretch the sides of your body long. Come on down. Wiggle your hips from side to side. Let's do a second set. Take your arms around behind you and interlace your hands or hold onto a strap and lift. Keep the same foot setting like it's there in chaturanga. Now as your heels drag back and your bound hands drag back, you can reach your chest, your nose, the crown of your head forward. While we're holding this pose, pit of your belly in as much as it can be. Tailbone goes back as you draw your pit of the belly up. Length right through here on both sides. One more breath in, tailbone down, chest forward, come back down. Wiggle your hips from side to side. Bend your knees for floor bow, reach back and hold your ankles from the outside, palms facing in, and flex your feet. Keep your breath flowing. Drag your shins back. So then let your arms just relax. Drag your shins back, knees a little closer, Erin, and kick up. You got it. So right between your knees, you would imagine that they're doing a little hugging in. And then weirdly, on your outside ankles, that they're pressing out. Knees in, ankles out. It'll make your lower back more broad and spacious. Now fill that up with a strong belly, a lot of support. Come on down. Wave your feet from side to side. Each pose we're putting into place in our body, alignment, and then balance between effort and ease. Second set. You can take the same outside of the ankle grip. Maybe you'd like to take the same grip as standing bow. You could try that. Flex your ankles, kick back and push up. You've got it. Kick back and push up. And then imagine inside of your knees, they're hugging in. And outside of your ankles and hands, they're pressing out. Hug in with your knees. Press out with your outer ankle. So weird. You might start to feel how your lower back is broad, the back of your shoulders are broad. Come on down. The end, Judy said, no more. Wave your feet from side to side. Okay, let's get ready and don't rush it. Put your hands on the ground wide and toward your bottom ribs. And then at first, your shoulders, they might be hanging forward. In fact, let them hang forward. Then make circles. Squeeze them up to your ears, to the back of your body, down to your ankles, and forward again. Try huge circles with your shoulders. Take 3 of them and really understand all the space your shoulders could take up until you come on to one where your shoulders go up to your ears and then they move to the back of your body, and keep that. It doesn't mean on the back of your body your shoulder blades would collapse. It does mean that your arm bones are just going straight back. Then, as though you were not on a sticky mat, but you're on the floor like I am, press back with your hands, slide forward with your chest, and lift. Yes. Instead of your shoulders getting stuck forward, ideally they're back. So take a look like you're some kind of weird Halloween painting. Move your eyeballs. Can you see your shoulders? Come back down. Put your hands on the floor and set them wide. Take your 3 circles. So feel the difference. What does your shoulder feel like in the front of your shoulder joint? The top of it, the back of it, the bottom of it. Look for all that. We want the top, back. Once you get finished the 3, settle up in the top, back, and then as you slide, go more to the back, more to the back. Find the point where you pause and you start doing this. Don't do that. Come down lower and go back. Try it again on your belly. Make the 3 circles. Why I'm driving this home is because you do this upward dog so many times. And a lot of you do it like this. You're up here like this. And then it's jamming into your lower back. And it's bad for your shoulders. So get them back. Slide forward. Come up. You can keep your knees bent, your thighs on the floor, or more if it's available. Shoulders back. Chest forward. That's it, Jen. Shoulders back. Yes. Hold it there. It's going to be challenging. It's going to take a lot of strength in your bottom ribs. Keep your shoulders. Downward facing dog. Keep your shoulders back, 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 back. Yes, Jennifer, you did it. That's awesome. Camel pose, knees on the ground. Knees on the ground, camel pose. So knees hip width distance, hands in your back pockets. Lift up. Like every single time we prepared for a back bend, lift up as tall as you can get. None of this. None of this. Also, none of this. This isn't part of a back bend. Lift. You want a big back bend, you make your legs strong and you lift and keep on lifting and lifting and lifting and breathing. At any point where your back feels like it's settling, especially in your bottom ribs, that's too far. Keep lifting, lift up through your bottom ribs, up through your chest. And if your body takes you toward reaching for your feet, go for it. Keep lifting your belly a little more, Erin. Breathe. Right through there. Keep lifting. Yes. Reach for your feet if that's the available space. The way out, lift your chest, downward facing dog, and stretch. Camel pose is an amazing setup, telling your body, here's the effort and the ease, and it's warning your body, like, don't settle there. Let's try again. Camel pose, knees down. Set it up. Lift, lift, lift. Keep the back broad, the back of the pelvis, so the spine, the tailbone can descend, and you lift and lift. Feel how it's folding right here? Lift. Let's go here. Get your body to learn to do this. Keep lifting right from the pit of your belly. Right there. Feel you settled. Come up again. Come on up out of it. Downward facing dog. Stretch. Once you've stretched, jump through and roll onto your back for bridge pose. We've got some good skills on board and we're ready for some back bending. So what are the skills we've got on board? We already know we have lift and space in the lower back. But when you worked on your upward facing dog with your arm bones and shoulders, you have something else, and that's that it stays broad and your arm bones stay up and back. Let's start with bridge. Come up into your bridge pose. In your bridge pose, take the circles with your arms, shoulders to your ears, to the back of your body, down toward your feet, and then to the front of your body. Take big circles. It'll feel so weird. Just the circles with your shoulders. Circles with your shoulders. Find the circles where all the spaces in your shoulders. Tuck your chin and come on down. Knees side to side. You know, when you go for wheel pose and you're feeling like it's not feeling great, for a lot of you, the problem is your shoulders are stuck in the forward. You can't take a back bend like that. So back up to your bridge. Shoulders, what's the front? The front is off the floor. The top of your shoulders up at your ears. The back, you can feel a really steady base on the ground. Down, you feel just like forced into your lower back and sides. 3 circles. 3 circles. Take your hands to the ceiling, flex your wrists, place your hands on the floor. 3 circles even here. You can be that mobile. 3 circles even here. Tuck your chin and come on down, knees side to side. We've got what we've got today. Let's get ready and go. Set up your first wheel pose from bridge into wheel. On your mark, get set, and up you go. Hands set wide, maybe get onto the top of your head and make 3 circles and figure out where your shoulders are in your body right now. Then tuck your chin and come on down. Knees side to side. Let's set up the next one. Press down, rise up. So set your hands a little wider. Ruben, I'd love to see yours just a tiny bit wider. This is looking great, and I think you're going to get a little more action in your shoulders a little wider. That's it, Paige. Nice and wide. Your hands. Yes, Angela. Yes. Take a sigh. Press the floor by the thumb side of your hand. Let your chest open. Tuck your chin and come down. Knees side to side. What I discover now when I get up there is maybe my quads and my hip flexors and my low belly need more stretch. I could have had that in all the upward dogs. Maybe I get up there and my upper back is like frozen. It's not giving me space, all the malleability I need. You find your spot and work with your breath now to bring ease in the next 5 poses. So here we go. First one. Set it up. Bridge your wheel. All the way up there, and you explore. Hands wider, feet wider, some shoulder rolls. Maybe you're just pushing away and relaxing back. Like your hands are sort of doing some push-ups and your shoulders are getting mobile in your shoulder joint. And you can just breathe. Tuck your chin and come on down. Knees side to side. We've got 4 more of these. Force nothing. Next one, set it up. Hands, feet on the floor. Press down, rise up. Set your hands really wide. Take a few sighs. Yes, that's it, Larissa. Now pressure in your big toe so you're not too much in the low back with that. Tuck your chin and come on down, knees side to side. We have 3 more to go. Let's set it up. Should be good and hot and humid outside there, Angie. Let's get going. Set it up. Bridge your wheel. Yes, it is. Just the same in here today. Press down and rise up. I love the setup of the shoulders. So bridge or wheel, either one is fine. And then you work with what you have. Great choice there, Amanda. Just keep pressing your shoulders, upper arm and elbow down. Tuck your chin and come on down, knees side to side. We've got 3 more. Here we go. Press down, rise up. Now you start working with it, playing with it. Maybe in your bridge or in your wheel, you can tap your right hand to your right thigh and bring it to the floor. Your left hand to your left thigh, bring it to the floor. It's pretty much just a flip dog you're working with there. Just getting more mobile in the flip dog. Tuck your chin and come on down, knees side to side. We have 2 more. Okay, get ready. First of 2, hands, feet on the floor, press down, rise up. Now take a little inventory of your lower back. Is it starting to feel collapsed as you get tired? What can you do to maintain space and length? Softening your knees could help. Shins press to the foot of the mat, chest to the head of the mat. Tuck your chin and come on down, knees side to side. Now, how's your lower back? No knees into your chest, just side to side. Take a little inventory, how it's all feeling. We have 1 more. Here's your last one for today, and you've now spent an hour warming up for just this pose. You're ready. What's at stake is an hour's worth of work. Set it down, set the pose up, press down and rise up. Judy, can you open your heels a little bit? Just press in your big toe and maybe open your heels just a touch wider. See if your heels will open. Ruben, you too. See if your heels might open a tiny bit wider. Good. Yeah, open your heels, Caitlin. Just your heels, not your toes, and press in. Yes. Tuck your chin and come on down. Supta Baddha Konasana. Excellent work. Now you get this reward right here. You get to just lie here and feel what you feel in your body. To let the pose settle into the bones of your body. To have the results of your work. Let there be a quality of healing. Give yourself permission, soften, and open up to what's possible right now, right here. Hug your knees into your chest. Dead bug pose. You can rock from side to side. All of that opening. It's not stable. We have to bring stability now to it to keep the fruit of your labor. Legs straight up in the air. Flex your feet, curl up, and reach beside your legs and in front of you. Look up at your feet. Wake them up so they look like they're standing on the ceiling. You can peel your baby toes back toward the earth and press your big toes up. Curl so that you're folded at your ribs and the back of your neck is long. Take a breath, blow all the air out and sink your abdominals down. Now, this is our starting point. Every time you exhale, sink more and pulse just 5 times. 5. Just fold at the bottom ribs. 4. Keep the back of the neck long. 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees into your chest. We're building stability. Scissor legs. Right leg in front of you, left leg in the air, no turning out toes. Hug like there's something in the center line that you are hugging. And when you hug, you'll feel your hips square up. Curl up and reach to the ankle of your hovering leg. If your lower back is arcing off the floor, put your heel on the ground. Now pulse. Back of the neck long, folding at the ribs. Don't worry about bobbing your head. You may not feel like you're moving at all, and that's fine. Are your 2 sides of the pelvis still level? Go 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees. That's a tough one. One of these days, we're going to do an inversion workshop, and it'll be all about this, finding your center line like this. Switch to the other side. One leg long, toes straight up in the air, other leg pointing to the ceiling. Curl up. Now evaluate your own lower back. Hug. And when you hug, your hips will lock in. Pulse 5 times. Let the back of your neck stay long. It might just be you're just breathing. Sue, beautiful. Keep going. 2, 1. Hug your knees. Rock head to tail a few times. Just let your back muscles be ironed out like this, rolling back and forth. We've used your back a lot. Let's give it a massage here. Back and forth. And we'll go through to downward facing dog and take right side pigeon pose. Right side pigeon pose. Pose by pose, breath by breath, putting the principles in, making a clearing, adding strength and stability. We leave the classroom with the results we were looking for. Things like a sense of being more peaceful, more settled, less reactive, less angry sometimes, more able to handle the wave of emotions that inevitably come by just living life. Now just steady breathing. We get a chance now in these poses to open up to the side of the practice where ease takes the lead in being the strength. Every exhale, you could just keep letting go, letting there be space. Stay with your breathing. You might not feel like you need breath as much now, like you're not putting forward a lot of effort, but breath helps us to stay. Stay when something is difficult, whether that's stillness or the sensation or something else from the pose. To just stay. To stay and be a part of the breath, part of the movement. Steady, steady breathing, a steady drishti. Switch sides. Left leg forward. Get yourself into the shape of it all. Do the listening, the feeling what you feel, and start making the adjustments that are needed so that you leave today having achieved the results that you were hoping for. I'm always looking for my back staying stable through the day. I'm oftentimes looking for a quality of feeling settled with what I can and cannot control. I could get locked into those two things really easily all day long without a practice to tell me it's not the only thing to focus on. Sit on your left hip, swing your right leg around for double pigeon. So many choices in the double pigeon. Want the ankles hanging off the sides, different from like, say, a crisscross applesauce. And the hips behind. It could be really tempting to end up kind of stuck on the soft of the glutes. We want the sitting bones on the floor. Then start figuring out what needs support, maybe under this hanging ankle or under this hanging knee. Might need to be seated up tall or tall here. Elevated hips, like just by an inch or so, could be a really good tool for a lot of different bodies. Wanting to add extra support or work to the pose, never up here at your knee. This pose is opening the hips, so we want to work back at the hips. These bones, these long bones in the thigh, they can take a lot of down and out pressure as you fold. The knee can't. Don't put pressure on it. Whichever variation you're creating in your own body, keep your feet active. So flexed, toes awake and alive. We've noticed throughout the practice so many times that how the feet are has something to do with how the whole body is. Good alignment there. You feeling that, huh? Switch sides. Once you get it set up, inevitably we all need to kind of press down and move our hips back. So press down into the floor and move your hips behind. Jennifer, you might like to sit on your mat folded the next time, just a tiny bit of elevation. You might get a little more access. We want to keep it being a fold where the lower back stays stable instead of it getting pulled on like a ragdoll shape. That's pretty tricky. For some of us, our body's been in a ragdoll shape every time we've bent forward for our whole life. It's just our hamstrings or our hips have been tighter. That's just how it was. And it doesn't mean it's how it will always be. We just meet our body where it is and work with that. Okay, come on up out of this seated single leg extension. So straight right leg, bent left leg, and fold over the long one. Left hand to your baby toe and soften your outside ankle so your baby toe pulls back to your face. The other arm, the extra one, it could wrap around behind your back. That would be one option. I think this one can feel so good in your lower back. Breathe into it. A lot of really good form in this pose looking around the room. Keep on breathing. Let's take your foot like this and hold the baby toe side. Pull this baby toe back. See, I can see your outer ankle being tight. Let me take it. There. Feel different? Switch sides. Yeah. Left leg long. Reach for the baby toe side of your left foot with your right hand. Just keep softening these outer ankles. They just get so tight and it goes into your outside shin. Just a little softness. You can feel it all the way up your shin. Two legs in front of you, forward fold. Hold the outer side of your feet at the baby toe side and just pull your baby toes back towards your face and shift your weight maybe from sitting bone to sitting bone. And as you do that, just walk your thigh bones back. Feel free to keep your knees as bent as they need to be for the form that you're trying to create. And then come on up for reverse plank pose. So point your toes and hug your ankles together. If you've got a block, you could hug it right between your shins, just above your ankles. Then lean back onto your hands, your fingers point toward your hips, and lift up. Straight legs if you can, but if bent legs are what's just better for you today, go for that. They feel completely different. Sometimes I like one, sometimes the other. Hug the block with your ankles, press your toes to the ground, press down and lift up, and then sit down. We'll take one moment of fish pose, your C-shaped hands around your hips. Activate your legs. If your legs can be like loose and relaxed, then we're missing the foundation of this back bend. Stretch them. I'm pressing the C-shaped hands into my hips, stretching my head away from my hips. Once I have all that length in the side body, then I can press my elbows into the ground and open my chest and relax my head back. Shouldn't be a sinking in your ribs. Lot of space, lot of length. And then just breathe and expand your chest and upper back. That's it. Expand your chest and upper back. Bring your chin into your chest and roll down onto your flat back. Now we have time for inversions. Flat on the back, legs in the air, waterfall. Roll your feet overhead to plow. Take the progression into shoulder stand, then down into plow and deaf man's. You've got a little bit of time for this. If you prefer to work on a different inversion, that's available too. Inversions need that your feet are at 12 o'clock. When your feet are at 12 o'clock, you'll feel the back of your pelvis being broad. You'll need the support of the pit of your belly because without it, you'll be sitting in your lower back. Keep drawing your ribs in, the pit of your belly in. Choose your pose and just be steady with it. You feeling okay? Your cold eye towel is there. Mm-hmm. Put yourself in the inversion. You might try a few until you settle on the one that's going to feel just right today. Once you're there, set your drishti on one point. Bring steadiness to your breathing. You can continually bring yourself down a grade in the back bend, in the inversion, until you do end up with one where you can be steady with your breath. You have 10 more breaths. When you're finished your 10 more breaths, come to the finishing pose of this inversion you're on, whether it's child's pose or on your flat back, hugging your knees into your chest. One of the great things about having 90 minutes to practice is adequate time for Shavasana. Now, before we get there, hug your right knee into your chest. Allow your left leg to be long on the mat. And then take your right knee across your body. Maybe it can land on a block so you can stack your hips up from ceiling down to floor. And then once you get here, you can ease your body open if that's available. And hold this pose and breathe. You're probably noticing the urge toward Ujjayi breath is softening, going away, and that's fine. Let yourself soften toward your everyday breathing where there's not space in between your inhale and your exhale anymore. One part of the breath just rolls right into the next part. But let it be informed by all the work you've done on your breathing. Let it be smooth and steady. Come to the center and hug your knees into your chest. Keep your left knee, straighten your right leg on the mat. Take your left knee across your body to land on a block so that you can stack your hips straight up and down. Without the block, they would slide over, the top one would slide over further. There's both opening and stability available here in your back. Steady, smooth breathing. Your steady, smooth breath tells your body that you're okay, that you're safe. You have everything you need. Your steady, smooth breath reinforces that you are whole, perfect, and complete exactly the way that you are. Come to the center and hug your knees into your chest. Bring your forehead to your knees and take a breath or two and let the skin on the back of your body open up and relax. Supta Baddha Konasana. Set your bones up. Set your bones to be supported by the floor, your shoulders, your pelvis. That your torso is able to be long and in a natural, easeful position. In the studio, you've got your cold eye towel near your mat. You're welcome to utilize that. And if you've got your bones set where you really feel supported by the floor, then stretch your legs out long and wide for Shavasana. Give yourself permission to have this pose for however long it is. Once you get your limbs settled, take a deep breath in. Open up your mouth and sigh and settle a little more. Just let go. You do that as many times as you need to. Whenever you discover there's something you're holding, physical, emotional, take a sigh and let go. And then discover what's on the other side of the holding. This part of our practice where we are getting curious, using our felt sense, we're discovering, it's called inquiry. We're doing it all the time when we're doing the physical practice, and then we pull it out and we focus only on it in programs like 40 days and teacher training. An inquiry is the act of asking a question, not for an answer, but to discover. Let go of what you already know and discover. What is it to just be? Now, just one more moment to be aware of how it is for you right now, what you're experiencing, and then begin to deepen your breath. As you're ready, you can maybe take a breath with a sigh and squeeze your fingers and your toes to just physically mark this space of openness and ease that you created for yourself. Maybe roll your head from side to side or stretch your arms overhead even. And then hug your knees into your chest and roll to your side. You can pause on your side. And just with this extra bit of movement we've just now added, see how much you can tap into the stillness, the ease, the openness, whatever it is you were able to discover. And then bring yourself up into a sitting position. Make it comfortable, but make it so you can sit tall. Once you're steady, inhale and reach your arms overhead. Exhale, bring your hands into prayer position. Check in, what's still here, and set an intention for your practice, for the rest of the day. From the space that you created, what's available for you to be able to step into as an intention for the rest of the day. Then we'll create in a moment a sea of 3 ohms. We'll start together, and your ohms will be as loud or soft as they are and long and short as they are. We'll end up ending at different times. So don't worry about the people around you and waiting for that. You just make a clearing as it needs to come out of you. Take a deep breath in. Bring your thumb knuckles to the center of your forehead. Just pause for a moment, acknowledge yourself, acknowledge those of us who are practicing here together at home and inside of the studio. Wouldn't have been the same if one of you were missing. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through your mouth. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks, Angie, at home for joining us. Thank you all for being here. If you have any questions about our trainings, the workshop this afternoon, we have our next trip to the Himalayan Institute coming up in September. Staying there from Thursday through Sunday, learning a little bit more about the history of yoga, practicing, relaxing, and eating well. I'm happy to answer those questions. Have a great rest of your weekend. See you at home. See.